Today, we're taking a look at the Neonic Flare Prime X. What's up, guys? Back when Neonic announced this paddle, I would have never guessed how much I would end up liking it. But if the year ended now, this would probably be my paddle of the year. Now, because I know that Neonic makes good paddles, I assumed that I would like this paddle, but I just wasn't expecting to like it this much. So let's take a look at the specs and see what makes it unique. So this is Neonic's Flare Shape, which is a standard or wide body shape paddle. It's 16 inches long by 8 inches wide and features a 5.5 inch handle, which is actually a little bit closer to 6 inches if you overwrap it all the way up. It comes in at a very light average weight of 7.7 ounces and a very low average swing weight of 106. But it comes in with a very solid 6.8 twist weight. It is a thermoformed T700 carbon fiber paddle, but it does have an internal layer of fiberglass for a bit of extra pop and power. And then one of the more unique features is the dense small cell polypropylene core. And that all comes together to make a really unique and good feeling paddle. And then of course the best part, like all Neonic paddles, this paddle offers a great value. It comes in at $140, or if you use discount code SCOOTER, it brings it down to $126, which for a paddle of this quality is an insanely good value. But the real question, how does it play? So the first thing you'll notice is it's very light right out of the box. So I did spend a good bit of time playing with its stock, and it was really good and super quick. And that light stock weight does allow for easier customization. But me, I tend to prefer my paddles a bit on the heavier side. So after some testing, I settled on 6 inches of Pickleball Effect 1 gram tungsten tape directly along the sides of the paddle. And that's the setup that I've stuck with since. And that just made the paddle feel a bit more stable and added a bit more plow through. So just keep that in mind as we move forward through the play characteristics. So the feeling of this paddle is super unique. The feel is super crisp and dense, but without feeling stiff. But it also doesn't feel particularly plush, and it doesn't have a lot of dwell time, which makes it very predictable, but without the harsh feeling that you typically get from stiffer paddles. I find that this paddle kind of has the best of both worlds. You get that nice crisp responsive feel that you find on stiffer paddles, while also getting that nice dense and dampened feel from softer paddles. And I find that that nice feel and predictability pairs great with the power and pop of the paddle. And this paddle has plenty of both. I find that serves and drives feel amazing with this paddle, and I'm able to keep them nice and low with lots of power. And that great spin that Neonic provides helps keep them in the court. The maneuverability from the light swing weight paired with the pop and power make this paddle a hands battle monster. Hands battles, blocks, counters, all felt great with this paddle. However, all of that good does come with a little bit of a downside, which is of course control. Now, the control isn't as bad as you might think compared to a lot of power paddles, but it definitely does take some time to get dialed in. The first few games I had with it definitely had some pop-ups and bad drops. Then I found that I overcorrected and was being a little too cautious in putting balls into the net. However, after a few hours of play, I was able to get it dialed in and I felt perfectly comfortable in the control game. Now, obviously this paddle is towards the power end of the spectrum, but thankfully it's not so extreme that it becomes uncontrollable. So how does it compare to some of the other options? So the obvious comparison is the original Flare from Neonic. The Flare Prime X has significantly more pop and power, while being more dense and less springy feeling. Now the carbon fiber, fiberglass, and dense core in the Flare Prime X does still have a little bit of spring. It is less springy than the original Flare. The original Flare was definitely more of a control paddle, and you really had to swing through the ball to access its power. So while the original Flare is a great paddle, and I thought I would like it more, I actually like the Flare Prime X better. The original is still a great paddle and it's arguably more user-friendly, but the Flare Prime X is a more aggressive and offensive option that I'm finding is working well with my game right now. So the other big comparison is what about the Paddleteks? It's got similar power and pop to the ESQ 14.3, but thermoformed. And it's not quite as powerful or poppy as the 12.7mm. One of the main complaints about the Paddletek Bantam series is that they tend to feel hollow for some people and have a small sweet spot. But the core that Neonic uses is significantly more dense. And that, paired with the fact that this paddle is thermoformed, give it a better sweet spot with no hollow feeling while still having equivalent pop and power. And most importantly, all of that for half the price. So I normally don't main standard or wide body paddles. I typically find that for myself I like hybrid and elongated shapes better. But after testing this paddle for the past few weeks and enjoying it so much, it will be taken over as my new main paddle for now. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. It truly does help a ton. And stay tuned, I have more reviews coming soon.